People are always going to die. Obviously, just shy of 6,000 people have died in Germany, which is a comparable country and population. We seem set already to be close to the 45,000 mark when you add care homes and residential homes to the official tally of deaths in hospitals. And none of that is really opinion. It's all fact. And yet here we are, listening to a Prime Minister describe our apparent success. And the mind genuinely boggles. Let's try to be fair, always. Let's try, perhaps, to analyse that phrase in a way that is not as negative as first instincts may demand. He could be talking about the apparent success of the lockdown, brackets, that he was late and weak in imposing, close brackets. I don't know if you saw one newspaper column yesterday suggesting that the reason why Boris Johnson delayed the lockdown was because he cares so much about poor people. I thought that was a suggestion of almost unalloyed beauty. But, of course, the question of what happens next needs to be what concerns us the most. The problem is, if he is economical with the truth about what has happened so far, if he is, well, frankly, ridiculous in claiming success up to this point, then those of us who are not members of any cults, and there are two cults at play in British politics at the moment, one thankfully is in retreat while the other is in the driving seat, that we won the argument cult are in decline, the 45,000 dead is an apparent success, are in the ascendancy. If you belong to neither of those worldviews, then you are, of course, desperate for the British government, whoever it may contain, to deal with these problems as well as they can. The fact that they've dealt with them appallingly thus far is very, very uncomfortable, though it may be, something that you have to park. There is no use crying over missed opportunities. So the problem, of course, for those of us who aren't in either cult is, if you really want to trust someone moving forward, it's rendered rather difficult to do if they can't be honest about what's just happened. And there is epic dishonesty involved in claiming that we have enjoyed anything that could ever be described as a success. My apologies, I was supposed to be trying to provide a more charitable analysis. I suppose you could claim he's pointing out that the lockdown that he brought in too late and too weakly has worked. And yeah, I mean, you could allow that as long as you acknowledge the weakness and the tardiness of the lockdown, and therefore we need to stay in it. So I'll take that as the starting point, as someone who really, really wants to have hope, but can't quite see how you're supposed to trust someone who's already fibbing about what's happened thus far, our apparent success. And he's almost up there with Priti Patel boasting about the fall in shoplifting. I mean, that was a highlight of the weekend, wasn't it? Absolutely magnificent. To hear the Home Secretary trumpeting a decline in shoplifting without mentioning that pretty much every shop in the country is shut. Do you know Kidderminster Harriers have just enjoyed their longest period of time without losing a game of football? It's absolutely magnificent. The streets of Kidderminster are festooned with bunting and banners because we haven't let a goal in for weeks. That's right up there with the Home Secretary boasting about a fall in shoplifting. Presumably, and I don't know anymore, presumably if you are a cult, then you still think that there's something defensible about a Home Secretary boasting about a fall in shoplifting at a time when all the shops are shut. Quite incredible now how completely blinkered and buried so many of us seem to be.